Guys, here's a friendly reminder. Hackers are getting better and more sophisticated each year, and if you are not prepared, they can make your life miserable. Are you doing everything you can to protect yourself online? I've been a NordVPN customer long before they were a show sponsor. Their software allows me to safely browse the internet without being traced. But NordVPN is now more than just a VPN. They've now just introduced threat protection, giving you even more comprehensive security against cyber threats. It blocks trackers, intrusive and malicious ads, and steers you away from harmful websites and files. Enjoy cleaner, safer, and more private internet. Their advanced decryption still hides your location and encrypts all the data you send and receive, and one account secures 6 devices. Try NordVPN with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to nordvpn.com/Sonnen or use code Sonnen to get a 2-year plan plus 1 additional month at a huge discount. Henry Cejudo was talking about Jon Jones. He was talking about the only way to beat Jon Jones. Now, before I even go any further, that was very interesting considering Cejudo is now a coach for Jon Jones. And I have to word it that way. I have to word it a coach. I don't know if he's the coach. I don't know that Jon's decided that. Like where Jon actually buckles down and does training camp. I don't know that that's going to be in Arizona, but I don't know that it's not. Henry is a coach. And you don't usually hear that. You don't usually hear how to beat my athlete. But Henry he didn't break any rules. He didn't go into any great details. A very broad stroke. And he said, you got to do it with power. It's the only way to beat him. Henry talked about you've got to step in. You got to be willing to take that risk. Talked about this is why the Francis matchup is so intriguing. But if Henry was to go a little bit further, we all agree with him, right? You're going to have to put him down. And we haven't seen that. And before you think, well, no, or you could submit him. I don't know. Is that really one that you'd bet on? I mean, if you look at what Jon has been willing to take, I used myself, he had a bone sticking out of his body and did not want to stop. Back up, he had Vitor Belfort. His arm was done. Nobody has not tapped in the history of the UFC that was that deep into an armbar. That's a close statement. That's a very close statement. There could have been some equals, right? Like Carlos Condit against George St. Pierre. Like there could have been some equals, but the point that I'm getting, do you really think Jon's going to tap? Based on what? So it does leave you, even though Henry's a little bit Captain Obvious, it does leave you with, you're going to have to put him down. Can you? I mean, the same way as I'm telling you, I'm not convinced he's going to tap. I'm not convinced you're going to out-tough him, which was a major belief in the sport for a major period of time. And maybe I'm, just inserting my brief experience with him. I thought I could out-tough him because he was so good. Guys that are so good, you only have to be better than everybody or tougher than everybody. You don't have to be both. And sometimes you are Jordan Burroughs. Sometimes you are Jon Jones. I mean, it is once in a lifetime, not just in a generation. But sometimes you run into a guy that's both. We didn't know that about Jon at that point. He was really good. He has never lost a round. He has never lost a minute. He has never been in trouble. He had never been taken down. Do some of these things to him. See how tough this guy. Let's see how bad that he wants it. And then his toe comes through his skin. And he doesn't care. I mean, it's one of those things. You learn as you go. So the idea that you can put him down, I hear you on that. But we're coming to that idea because it's the one thing that we haven't seen. What piece of evidence? Like, I'm submitting for you the Vitor Belfort armbar that didn't do the trick. I'm submitting for you an exposed bone that didn't do the trick. So what is it we've seen within Jon striking that shows you there's a punch out there that could put him down? Like if guys were landing shots and, the deer legs, and we've seen all of this, or even knocking him down and it was tough, but he didn't quite finish him. Have we seen anything like that? Have we ever seen a punch that he couldn't take? So now we're just guessing that in a different weight class with a much harder punch, I agree to it too. I agree. That's what it's going to have to take. But does somebody have that? It's an interesting question. It really is. Like, this whole Jon Jones at heavyweight has created an optimism for the haters, but a discussion for all. A mystery, if you will. How long can Jon run on that? That's part of it. Does Jon have 3 fights that he could do at heavyweight? Does he have 3 really big fights? And you got to understand, when I say that, don't just throw me 3 opponents. We're, of course, comparing. Everything's comparative in life. Does he have 3 fights at heavyweight that are bigger, that are more enticing than he would have had at light heavyweight had he stuck around? It's an interesting claim by Henry. I definitely agree. I definitely do agree. You will have to stop the man. I agree with that. And there's not anybody that we've seen that's better, more dynamic, more fundamentals, more technically sound. So it's got to be something else. Let's go with the power. But have we ever seen a shot or a punch? Have we ever seen him susceptible? Some guys do that. You remember Floyd Mayweather, as great as he was, but he ate some left hands. It's a very small critique. And over the body of his career, it ended up not making any bit of difference. But you at least had that going into fights. Well, he's fighting a southpaw. Last time he fought a southpaw, he took a few real hard lefts, and this guy's a power punch. You had some of these beliefs. Is there anything within Jon Jones' stand-up and his skills where you see as a way, a lot of weight on that lead leg? We see that. Conor McGregor, great striker. That commentary's out there, whether you want to agree with it or not. He puts too much weight on his lead leg and come out there, you can take some chops. Where are you going to start with Jon? You just got to hit him? He's got to have this incredible power, and then you just got to hit him. Well, where? Where? Can I put him down with a body shot? No, it's got to be on the face. Okay, well, I've seen him punched in his face, but I haven't seen him hurt. It's one of those things where I agree with Henry. But are we being realistic? I mean, if we're just being in Sillyville, give the guy a baseball bat. Give the guy a weapon. Give him a partner. Make it 2-on-1. I mean, if we're just throwing things out there, how realistic is it? How realistic do you believe it is? Does someone possess that power? And if so, it would seem that you've got to go to the absolute highest end of the spectrum, which is Francis. I think an interesting match, by the way. And I don't know that it would draw well, but would be Surreal gone. The reason I say that is I think there's just a belief Jon will go throw him down and change him quickly. But what if he didn't? What if that size difference was enough? Or what if Surreal learned some stuff with the Francis fight? Or, what if? What if he ended up stuck on his feet with Surreal? That would be interesting. Surreal's a very decorated kickboxer. He doesn't look as dynamic as Jon. But at least within theory, Surreal could take a lot of shots. They're going to be from a smaller man than he's used to. They're going to be less powerful shots. And Surreal only has to land X percentage of the ones that he takes. That'd be an interesting match. If we're playing this game where we could limit it, and they're on their feet and there's definitely some fun stuff out there. But Henry makes a good point. If we were to close our eyes and come up with the scenario, you're going to have to find a way to stop the guy.